Hey Rockstar, Steve aka Void here. Welcome to another episode of Riff Starter, where I help you play your favorite riffs from day one by removing those annoying speed bumps and roadblocks that slow you down. So all the techniques and strategies from the show can be found in my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More. And if you want me to personally help you play your favorite song from start to finish in 30 days or less, then definitely check out my full song fast track at fullsongfasttrack.com. You'll have to add your name to the waiting list, and then I'll contact you and we can chat some more about playing your favorite riff and song. So let's get to today's episode. Welcome. I'm excited about this one because this is a very popular riff that I get requests for all the time, and this is Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore. This riff is not the most complex riff, super catchy, but it has things on there, and as we'll see in a second, that can create those speed bumps or those roadblocks that slow you down. So it just doesn't sound the way that it should. It doesn't flow. Okay, so we're gonna help you with that today. And before we do, I want to just quickly talk about what we do here on Riff Starter, and also what we do just in general at Rockstar Mind. Is instead of trying to play your favorite riff basically at face value, so what I'm about to show you, the wrong way to do it, or what I believe is the wrong way, or the time-consuming way, instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the riff, we match the riff to your current skill level, and that's how you play from day one. So if we check out the riff, so if I go over here to my screen, we can see here it's just a typical tab. Okay, so we have a bunch of different notes. If we look over this tab, we have a bunch of notes. Oh, it does say the neck pickup. Okay, cool. So we switch to the neck pickup, and we have a bend with some vibrato, another bend, vibrato. Okay, cool. We got some slides. We got another bend. We have, so that's a full bend with some vibrato. We got a slightly different kind of bend than this one, this first one. It's just a lot of information. Even over here, there's basically, like, it's almost every single bar there's something slightly different. So we have to remember all those things. We have to be able to execute all those things. Not to mention we've got a rake over here. So if you heard in the intro, that's basically what I was showing you. I was showing you the face value version of the song, as I normally do on the beginning of Riff Starter. I'm kind of showing you what the riff is supposed to sound like. But the way that we get there isn't by doing it exactly at face value at first. What we want to do is we want to simplify the song. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to do that inside this episode. We want to simplify it first. You play it from day one. That's your foundation version. And then you upgrade until it sounds like the original, or until you're satisfied. Okay, I call it scratching the itch. So if you feel good, if you like the version that you're playing, then cool. Move on to either more parts of this song or another riff. Okay, so this is what we do. Let's get over to my guitar cam. And first, instead of getting, doing your best with the bends, I mean, you could set a timer for 5 minutes, let's say. And so you set a timer for 5 minutes, you do the face value, for 5 minutes, you just play whatever's on the tab, and then you get whatever you get. Like, that's cool, but you limit it. You got to limit it to like maximum 15 minutes, okay? I would say 5 minutes to 15 minutes would be a good sort of face value test. Now from there, we got to get strategic. So this is where, instead of trying to just go for it, where it's like, or actually that first one, I even forgot a detail there. So this is like bend up, pick, and then to another note. So that even just the first bar, there's like some details to remember. It's not just bending up. So then the next one is slightly different, so with a little slide back. There's all these details. It's too much. So what we're going to do first is just we're going to subtract. We're going to simplify. First and foremost, let's get rid of the bends, because what happens on this riff a lot is I'll hear someone play it and it's kind of like this. And it just doesn't sound really good, like, because you're not getting to that target. So instead, what you got to do is capture the essence of the riff first. Okay, I talk about this on a lot of different episodes of Riff Starter. Capture the essence of the riff. So what we want to do with this one, I would recommend, is just get the melody first, whether you're playing with just the individual notes or if you're replacing the bends with slides. So it would be like, and I would probably do all downstrokes. You can see here, I'm also on one string. I'm only playing this on one string. Besides that first note there, but even that I could change to one string. going up the scale. So I'm basically playing, I'll go with clean just so you could hear the frets. It's like 5 on the first string. I'm playing all this 5, 10, 12, 13, 12, 10, 8, 10, 12, 10, 8, 5, 7, 8, 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, 5. Okay, and that's like the bare minimum. That's like, you want to be able to do that with all downstrokes, play along with the record. You can probably do that from day one, even if you play it at, let's say, 90% speed or 80% speed. Okay, that's what you want to be able to do. And then you turn on like a distortion or a reverb. You know, you have like, even with one finger. So you get that part going first, because that's the essence of the melody. Then you could start to use more fingers, okay? Or you even start adding some slides to smooth it out. So you can go like, so I'll do both. Like, let's say fast forward 5 or 10 minutes. So, so you start adding in some slides there, and already it's sounding smoother. So what's cool about that is slides and bends. So slides are horizontal, they're across. Bends are vertical, so they're up and down. And so it's a similar sound. It's a very smooth sound. Bends are the smoothest, but very often bends can sound kind of flat. Okay, like I said, it goes like it doesn't quite get to the note that you need to. So at first, just play it with a slide, let's say. Once you get that melody down, play with a slide, and then you start, you can, like, one of them maybe, like the first one was check it out. So like here you could see the first bend is a half bend, okay? And half bends are 1 fret bends, so that they're easier to execute. So maybe that one you bend. So instead of going, you slide, maybe you do a bend. Okay, and then the next one, maybe you do a slide, because maybe you don't do the full slides yet, or the full bend. So you basically will start coloring in that picture. You create a stencil first, and then you color in the picture with more and more complexity as you go. But at least you could always fall back on that melody. So you can play along with the record from day one, and that's really what it's all about. It's just like, you want to be able to play the music first without having to wait so long and develop. Like, you shouldn't be playing like this. Like, I'm exaggerating over here, but that's not music. We want to make sure we could at least do the simple version, the essence of it, that you're able to do that. Like, hey, are you able to play the melody for Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore? Yes. I didn't ask you, can you do the bends? Can you do all the extra stuff? No, but I just said, can you play that melody? And then you can, like, even with just the melody. Smooth it out with more fingers, or you add the those slides in there. I like doing it on one string like this because you don't have any obstacles, those speed bumps of switching strings. You start off with a play from day one version where you have it on one string, and then you can build from there. So the other thing too is that there's that rake that's in there on when it goes like this. Does that rake, and like you might see something like that on the tab. So let me find it over here, like this rake over here. You might see this, and everything might be going well, and then you do this rake because the tab says you got to do the rake, and Gary Moore played the rake on the recording, so you feel like you have to do those details, and that could totally slow you down. So instead, just scrap the rake. Don't worry, remove the rake first, and then if you want to add that back in, add that later to polish. But this one here, you can see how very quickly we got through this riff with just different ideas. You know, turning the bends into slides, or even just removing everything and just going with even one finger, only downstrokes, one string, playing the melody. Play the melody first. Again, instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the riff, match the riff to your current skill level. That's how you play from day one. Once you have that day one version, that could take you 5 minutes, might take you 15 minutes, might take you a whole sitting, like 1 hour maybe. But you have that version, you play along with the record, and then you upgrade from there in in the next session and the next session after that, until you play like the record or until you're satisfied. Even with that slide version, I thought that was pretty cool, and that you could get by. Imagine you're playing a show at 8 o'clock and you had to play something, but you're not really strong on bends. just do the slide version. Do the slide and you can play. That sounded good. I mean, if I go... totally works. So that mentality of playing from day one is going to help you play more songs. And also, it's going to give you a foundation, because while you're practicing the bend version, as that gets frustrating, let's say, at least you could always fall back on this version here. If you don't have any version, it could get really frustrating. And then maybe you might not even like the riff anymore because it's only frustration. And you start to associate the guitar with frustration, so you don't pick it up as often. Whereas when you take this approach, you pick it up regularly. Like everybody who comes through my door and I help them to play songs, they're picking up their guitar regularly because we're approaching it like this and then upgrading, and then it's just win after win after win. So I want to share this with you. This was a shorter episode, I think, but this is the core of playing from day one, and also the core of RIFFSTARTER. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, check out my book if you haven't already. Play from day one. It's called Practice Less, Play More. And so Practice Less, Play More. You can grab that on Amazon. You can also grab it at playmoresongs.com. But if you want me to personally help you, not only play a riff, but play your favorite song from start to finish in 30 days or less, using these same principles plus much more, then you can check out fullsongfasttrack.com. It's obviously subject to availability. Right now there's a waiting list for it, but when I see your name on there, then I'll contact you. We'll see if it's the right fit, and then we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.